Looks good, man.
All right, joining us first tonight is head coach Chris Lemonis. We will now begin with an opening statement from the head coach and then go to questions. Please use the raised hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you are called on for your first question, please state your name and affiliation first. Coach, if you would, please go ahead with a brief opening statement, then we'll open it up to questions.
A great college baseball game against a great team. We've gone 4 times against Texas this year, and each game has been a brawl. You got to tip your cap to those guys. I know they're disappointed, but it's just, man, we've played some unbelievable games with those guys. Really happy for our kids. I thought we got a great start from Will Bednar. Landon Sims did Landon Sims things, and then my JUCO Bandits put it together there in the 9th. Braylon Skinner steals that huge base, and then, man, so happy for Tanner Leggett. Tanner Leggett's been a role guy for us all year, been in and out of the lineup. Never easy when you're that guy because you want to play, and then he gets the hit in the biggest moment, which means he's still invested, he's still working. Man, I couldn't be happier for the kids.
Yeah, our first question tonight is from Steve Robertson.
Well, Chris, you guys have kind of had a flair for the dramatic this year. I mean, I know you're not surprised to see it any other way tonight, but your ability to come back and walk things off, I mean, what does that say about the resolve of this team, and is that just kind of become your identity?
Well, it has become our identity. I told the team last night in the rain delay, if you ever thought it was going to be easy for us, it's not our way. It seems like we have to be dramatic. We have to, fight for it. And for us to get here, it was going to be a battle. And our team has been so resilient all year. I mean, it's probably our number one quality. It's just grit, being able to stay locked in, focused, and keep competing.
Next question is from Robbie Falk.
Yeah, Chris, Robbie Falk, Starkville Daily News and 247 Sports. I've heard you mention before just how, it takes a whole team to have moments like that. How much is that one of your weekly or daily teaching points? I mean, you have a guy that comes in there as a pinch runner, gets to second base, sets up a game-winning hit for a guy that hasn't had a lot of plate appearances in the last month or so. What's that say about what your team is able to do in moments like that? The stage just doesn't seem too big for them.
Well, it's been really hard to manage everything because we have really good players that aren't playing. And, keeping those guys invested. And, even all week as we've been taking batting practice, Goat's been saying, and I've been seeing it, like, Tanner's swing is good. Tanner's swing is good. And, yes, it is because he showed it tonight. But, it's the culture. It's the chemistry. It's the being bought in. It's all our guys being locked in together. And so that's how you're able to do some things. We did it the other night against Virginia. We've done it all year long. And I just told them in the dugout, it's going to take all of us in step together to keep winning here.
And next we go to Nick Suss.
2 quick ones for you, Chris. One was Braylon running on his own. Was that called? 2, what did you say to
I'm sorry. I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
Can we mute it in here? Okay. Braylon, did he run on his own, or was that called steal?
Oh, I heard you now. Yeah. No, we when we put him in, I told him he just needed a good count to run on. So he was green, and I just, we tried to make sure we got into a breaking ball count. Unfortunately, I think he ran on a 1-1-4, and it was a fastball up and away. So probably we didn't run on the best pitch or the best move, and he just outran the baseball.
And then what did you say to Tanner before that at-bat right there?
I didn't say anything to him. I'm sure Goat said something to him, what pitch to look for, but he kind of just, hit a ball hard is all we've been talking about and staying. Texas staff has so much power stuff. You got to just make sure you stay short and give your chances for contact because it's a lot of punch-out stuff.
And next we'll go to Aaron Fitt.
Coach, just curious what you're seeing from Landon right now. Obviously, he's pitched a lot this year. He's, had to pitch a few times in this event. It seems like even without his best stuff, he's good enough to get people out. But what did you see from him tonight, and how do you kind of evaluate maybe his fatigue level?
He was pretty good tonight. I mean, being extended, he knew before the game, he came to us and said this will kind of be like the super regional, and we just agreed, yeah, that's fine. And, we kind of read him daily. He's thrown a little bit harder during the year, but it's still mid 90s with a good slider. He's just such a competitive kid. He's just going to give you pitches and make pitches and 3-2 counts. He just fights so much out there, and that's what you need this time of year. It's being able to get some guys out there that can pitch in the moment and make pitches, and he's been that guy all year for us.
Okay, next question is from John Sokoloff.
Chris, you touched on him before and his resiliency, and you guys mentioning the never getting too high or too low and how you rally at the end. But Tanner only had, I believe, 3 at-bats from May 26th until now, heading into that at-bat. I mean, how bought in has he been kind of this last month? How kind of hard can it be for a guy when he's not getting the at-bats, obviously, that he wants? And how rewarding is it for him to kind of deliver like that?
Well, starting from the last question, it is you're so proud as a coach. And about a pitch earlier, right before the pitch came, Goat turned to me and he said, this may be the highlight of Tanner's career right here in terms of, being able to get that big hit. And next thing you know, the ball's in the gap. He has. He just, we just hadn't had the opportunity to play. We've kind of had a set lineup here through the postseason. So that's why, over the last couple of weeks, we haven't played a lot of guys offensively. We have a little defensive switch. But being able to get Josh Hatcher some at-bats, who's been playing well, has led to Tanner being able to get some time in the lineup. And it just so happened, his at-bat, or his time in the lineup came up tonight at the biggest moment. So, but he has been practicing, like I said earlier, his BPs have been really good lately, and that's a really good sign for him.
Okay, next we go to Theo Derosa.
Coach, last time you were here in the finals was 2013. How much have you been told about that team, and do you see any similarities to that team and this team this year?
I don't know. I know the players, and I was here in 13. We were in the same bracket. I know it was a bunch of tough kids, and they're all playing. A lot of them are playing in the big leagues now. And if you look up, you probably could say that's one of the, if not the best team here, because as far as they went, we're our own team. I'm sure Mississippi State teams have been resilient over time. I think that team had to fight through a super regional on the road and fight through a lot of things, and that's kind of what we've had to do. I mean, we've been fighting all year long. It's never been easy for us. Even with all the success we've had, it's always a grind.
Okay, next we'll go back to Steve Robertson.
Well, Chris, I don't know if it's sunk in yet, but you're about to coach and play for a national championship. I know that these are the things that you shoot for, but now that you've had a moment to kind of reflect on this College World Series bracket, you're going to go play against somebody that knows you really, really well. Do you think that's a detriment, or are you excited about that?
Yeah, we're excited. We're excited to just be playing, and we played well against Vanderbilt early in the year at their place. They're good, very good. That's why they're in the other bracket. But once again, like I told our guys last night, for Mississippi State to win theirs, it's going to be you're going to have to earn it. And playing Vanderbilt, and arguably one of the top programs, if not the top, in college baseball over the last 5 years, we have to go against the best, and that's the way we want it.
Okay, next we'll go back to Nick Suss.
Chris, just curious, do you address your team at all about what happened with NC State today, and just kind of what's your reaction to all of that?
The only thing, we can't control that. For us, it is conversation. The biggest part for us is, and I hate it because, we have such an unbelievable fan base is, we have to take care of ourselves. We want to make sure they're not allowed to sign autographs. They're not allowed to shake hands. They're not allowed to do some of the things you do in a normal year because we're protecting our group as a whole. But and our focus, and at least I tried to make it, our focus was about Texas. And now our focus is about Vanderbilt. It sucks. Elliot Avant's a good friend of mine. I have multiple coaches in my dugout who worked at NC State, who went to NC State. Man, it sucks. That's the only thing you can say about it. Man, our hearts are broken for them. And everybody, I'm sure everybody feels that way. Nobody wants to win a game out here because of that. Everybody wants to win it between the lines. And I know, for our kids, it's just about us jumping in there and playing Vanderbilt now.
Okay, we're going to have time for 2 more questions. The first will be with David Murray.
Coach, you've talked all year about be where your feet are, play in the moment. What is it about this team that allows them to, for good, bad, and different, never take one game into the next game?
I think a lot of that, when people talk about our experience, I think that's the biggest piece. And we have some great leaders on this team. Not just, we always talk about Tanner and Rowdy, but we got Spencer Price and Riley Self and Josh Hatcher and some of the older guys that have been around that understand, you know, you're just going to get punched in the nose in this league, and you're going to punch somebody else in the nose, and it doesn't matter. It's just we've done it enough, and you know, everything that we stress on is about the next game, playing the next game. We'll enjoy this game, you know, here over the next 12 hours. But when we wake up tomorrow morning, we have to be ready to go. And, you know, there's not a lot of time. I mean, turnaround, we got to be able to be ready to run out there and play good on Monday.
Our last question for Coach is with John Sokoloff.
Chris, we've been mentioning how good Will did, Landon, you know, Tanner's walk-off. But what about you personally? What were kind of the emotions that you were feeling when that walk-off was hit, and where does that kind of rank in terms of some of your favorite college baseball memories that you've had around the game?
Well, until next week, that's my favorite. So it's it just happened so fast. It happened so fast. You're sitting there in a tight game, and next thing you know, it's over, and your kids are celebrating, and you're, like I said, you're hugging your coaches. And then you're just so proud and happy for your team. I mean, they work so hard. These kids, they sacrifice more than you can ever imagine to play at this level, to play on this stage, and to see them, you know, celebrate the way they did is awesome.
All right, Coach, thank you for your time.
Thank y'all.
Next up, we'll be joined by Landon Sims momentarily. Again, please use the raise your hand function to get in line to ask a question. Okay, we're going to go straight to questions for Landon. The first one is from Steve Robertson.
And you guys have obviously been a great late inning team, and you're a big part of that. But when you look at the offensive side of this, I mean, how much confidence do you have that your guys can always come from behind and win a ball game for you?
I have all the confidence in the world that they're going to score runs when it's needed. We've done that all year, and we weren't going to stop now. So I felt pretty confident right there in the 7th, 8th, 9th inning. You know, if we had to go into extras, I would have felt confident too.
Our next question is from Theo Derosa.
Landon, you guys going to the finals. I know that the team has never won a national championship. How much would that mean to you, and how much would that mean to this program to do that?
I mean, it would mean everything. You know, to us, the program, to the school, to the city of Starkville. You know, I think it would mean the world. And I think we have a really good shot to do it right here.
Okay, do we have any more questions for Landon? Again, please use the raise your hand function if you'd like to. We'll go back to Steve Robertson.
A lot of discussion last night about maybe bringing you in, and then, you know, that they bring in tonight. I mean, number one, how did you feel yesterday? And number two, how do you feel right now after this one?
I was ready to go if the situation presented itself yesterday. You know, in a tie game, I don't think Coach Lem wanted to pull the trigger. And I think everybody in the program is perfectly fine with every decision he makes. So I felt good yesterday, and I feel really good right now, you know, from a mental and a physical standpoint. So, yeah.
Okay, we'll go to Nick Suss.
Landon, in your head there, were you preparing to throw the 10th, or did you kind of expect the guys to walk it off there?
You know, I had to prepare a little bit for how many ever innings I was going to have to go right there. But I had a pretty good feeling we were going to score a run right there. And when Kellum got on base and then Braylon stole that base, I knew we were gonna walk off right there.
Our next question is from David Murray.
You speak about that, Landon. What was your reaction when you saw Tanner make contact? Did you follow the ball into the field, or did you know it was in?
Right when it went off the bat, I think everybody in the dugout knew that it was game right there. You know, he put a really good swing on it, probably the best swing of his life. I think he would say that. But you know, right off the bat, I think everybody in the dugout knew.
Okay, Landon, thank you for your time.
Thanks, guys.
Next up, we'll be joined by Tanner Leggett. Again, please use the raise your hand function to get in line to ask a question. Our first question for Tanner is going to be from Steve Robertson.
Well, Tanner, you grew up a Mississippi State guy, and you've always wanted to be in this uniform. You just made the hit that's going to send Mississippi State to the College World Series final. So take us through the at-bat and just tell us how you're feeling right now.
Man, it's incredible. I had a couple of guys come up to me in the dugout and tell me that I was going to get a chance to win it. I had a chance for a big hit a couple nights ago, but grounded out to third. Kept my head up, said my little prayer, and I knew when Bray got the bag stolen that it was meant to be. If I got a pitch to hit, I was going to be short to it, and I did. Thank the Lord.
Next, we'll go to David Murray.
Tanner, take us through the at-bat.
So I got a heater away on my first pitch. It was a great pitch, great guy. Their pitching staff's tough. But he hung one up, and I put a good swing on it. It wasn't a bad pitch, though. It was a good pitch. I was just locked in. I was where my feet were, and it paid off for us.
Next, we'll move to Robbie Falk.
Yeah, Tanner, Robbie Falk from Starkville Daily News and 247 Sports. I was talking to Chris a little bit about this, but he counts on you guys to be prepared for moments like this when your time comes. And, you got a pinch runner on first base that's still second to get in position for you. Just how ready are you for moments like this? I mean, this isn't a normal, substitution. You have a chance to win and go to the College World Series finals. How prepared do you feel like you are and your team is for moments like this to step into it?
Man, what an opportunity. Some people get nervous in those situations. I was praying for that situation. Thank God that I was there. Thank Coach for putting me in the game. I knew if I got a pitch, though, I was going to be short to it. And just play my part, every pitch, every out, all 9 innings.
Our next question is from Aaron Fitt.
Aaron Fitt, D1 Baseball. Tanner, Coach said that he thought you've been having some really good swings in batting practice lately. And I'm curious, do you feel like that too? Do you feel like your BPs have been particularly strong? And is there anything in particular that you've been doing lately that's led to that?
Not anything different. Just day in, day out, staying locked in, staying focused on every game, every pitch, knowing that when I do get a chance, that I take advantage of it. And in the postseason, yes, BP has been more serious, more locked in, but nothing too drastic.
Our next question is from Elizabeth Merrill.
Did you grow up a Mississippi State fan? And just is that kind of the thing kids from Raymond, Mississippi do? And also, I just want to know what happened with your shirt after the game.
Yes, I did. I grew up in a small town in Mississippi, so I was always around Mississippi State, watching games, watching all sporting events. When I got offered here, I knew that this is where I wanted to go and be a part of the baseball squad. My shirt, Landon Sims stole it, and I never saw it again.
Next question is from Nick Suss.
Going off of that, man, what goes through your head when you see the swarm of teammates running at you in the infield?
Everything. You black out. It's a great feeling knowing that we've worked so hard to get here. What a moment. What a moment.
When was your last walk-off?
Shoot, high school baseball.
Okay, we're going to have time for 2 more questions. The first one from John Sokoloff.
Tanner, how rewarding is it for you? You've only had 3 appearances since the 26th, but what was it like kind of keeping your head up high and just kind of waiting for your moment, and how rewarding was it to finally get a couple of big shots and obviously have the biggest hit that the team's had this year? What was that whole process like, and how rewarding is it?
Just stay in tune, knowing my part, knowing my role, day in, day out of practice, games, making as most of every opportunity I can get. Not trying to do too much, putting good swings on the balls, just playing my part.
Yeah, our final question for Tanner is going to be from Steve Robertson.
So a lot of maroon here this weekend. There'll be a bunch more come next week. But last night when you guys came out of the dugout after the rain delay, there were still a couple thousand Mississippi State fans here, and they got really excited. and it seemed like some things were special kind of going on behind that dugout. What did that mean to you guys? All those people stayed through 3-hour rain delay. And how much do you think maybe that mattered today, having your fans here?
Oh, so much. That's what makes Mississippi State baseball is a fan base like absolutely no other. When you have that many people rooting for you, yelling your name, just here in Omaha, I mean, it's like a home field advantage almost. It's incredible. Love every single one of them. For moments like that, that's what you pray for.
All right, Tanner, thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone, for participating tonight. You can find a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com, and transcripts will be available at ncaa.com transcripts. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for joining us. We will now begin with an opening we will begin with Cole Quintanilla. Our first question will come from Cole Thompson.
Cole Thompson, LonghornsCountry.com. Cole, just overall thoughts on your performance. I understand that it's a bad way to lose, but 3.1 innings of great work. Just overall, how do you feel?
I just went out there and tried to leave it all out on the line for my brothers. Just doing everything I can to keep us in the game, and basically just everything I had, just leave it out there.
We'll continue with a question from Danny Davis.
Danny Davis from the Austin American Statesman. Cole, obviously the wounds are still fresh, but can you reflect a little bit about this season and getting this far and kind of what you guys were able to accomplish this year?
I'm really proud of these guys. The season obviously didn't start off how we wanted to, but I think we showed how tough we are. And I think the future's bright for the younger guys that are coming up, especially like Tanner, Nixon, Lucas. They're going to play a huge role for this team next year and in years to come.
Did you tire at all in that ninth inning, or did you feel pretty fresh going back out there?
I mean, I was just more concerned about just emptying the tank, every inning, not really worrying about how tired I was or how fresh I felt. Just what I had is what I was going to give, and if it was 70%, I was going to give 100% of that 70%.
We'll continue with a question from Cedric.
Yeah, Cole, Cedric Golden, Austin American Statesman. What can this experience getting to Omaha and losing by a run in both games to the team that I think is going to win it all, what will that do for you guys coming back next year with so many young guys that got this experience?
This experience is unreal. I've enjoyed every moment of it, and I think it was really good for the younger guys to experience this, to know what it's like to be in Omaha, to know what it's like to win. Yeah, it's going to leave a sour taste in our mouths, but I think it'll motivate the younger guys even more in the team next year to come back and, finish unfinished business here in Omaha.
Coach say to you guys in the locker room?
I'm sorry, what's that?
What did Coach say to you guys in the locker room?
Before the game or?
Just after the game.
Everybody's still outside in the dugout, but basically just kind of went up to us and told us how proud he was of all of us and, how much he loves us.
We'll continue with a question from Nick Moyle.
Yeah, Nick Moyle, San Antonio Express News. Cole, there was a moment there after y'all got out of that bases loaded jam. Tristan comes up and gives you a hug, and you guys talked all year about how close y'all grew through this experience, especially after not really getting to be together last year during COVID. What was it like to go through this with those guys in the dugout, and how, I guess, excited are you that you're going to have a lot of those guys back next year to go take a run at this again?
Yeah, and Tristan's my boy ever since we got to campus. We did Tommy John rehab together. We've been through everything together, ups and the downs. So I know it meant a lot to him, and it meant a lot to me to come into that situation and get him out of it. And I'm excited for what the future holds for this team with the younger guys. They're going to be really good, and I think we're about to show, college baseball that Texas is back and we're here to stay.
Yeah, and also just, obviously your fourth straight elimination game, and you guys had really, really late nights the last two nights. How draining has that been for y'all? And, do you think that played a factor a little bit in today, just, a little bit of fatigue, exhaustion after those last two nights, and 4 straight games back against the wall?
Yeah, obviously the late games wasn't ideal. But coaches preached this whole season about grit and mental toughness and, how important that is. And, something he said a lot was that no matter the circumstances, it's just the way we like it. So I think the team has really bought into that. And so even though we played late games, into 1 a.m. and stuff like that. Even though everybody may have felt tired, I think in our minds we were like, it's just how we like it. Like, so what? Let's do it. Like, how awesome would it be, to do this thing, even though we've had late night games and stuff like that.
Our next question will come from Kirk.
Yeah, Kirk Bowles from the American Statesman. Great game by you, Cole. Tremendous. I was wondering if you could describe that 6th inning when you got out of that bases loaded jam.
I just really tried to slow the game down. I know it was a big moment coming in with no outs, and I just tried to attack the hitters as much as I could. Basically, just going after them and trying to let my defense work rather than trying to do it all on my own.
And could you just describe the pressure that this team has been under after that Game 1 loss, and having to fight your way to this point and get so close to the championship series?
I don't know if we really felt pressure. Going back to what I said with Coach Pierce, it's been preaching. It's just how we like it the whole year. So even though we lost the first game, I don't think anybody really doubted the next games to come, and we really just focused on us, and it's always been about us and what we do as a team, and so we just played pitch after pitch, inning after inning, focusing on what we can control, not the other team.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have with Cole. Cole, thank you again for your time, and we'll have an additional representative shortly.
Thank you.
Are we hot?
We are. Thank you, Coach, for joining us. If you'd please go ahead with a brief opening statement.
Well. I mean, we'll look at today and what an incredible baseball game that was. 2 really great teams. So proud of this group. I'm telling you, we've talked about them in a positive way every single day. And there's not one thing, you look at this game, there's not one thing that you say, well, if we would have done this or if we would have done that, and we hit 4 balls to the wall, that any 4 of them could have been out or all 4 of them could have been out. Played impeccable defense the entire series and some big-time pitches and big-time moments, and the defense played their tails off. And so I always look at every single day as no regrets, and there's 0 regrets. The only thing that I'm disappointed in is this team will no longer be this team anymore. And it's the most incredible team I've ever been a part of, and I've won a national championship and been here now 6 times. But just when you talk about culture and you talk about standards, and you talk about all those buzzwords, and then you go out and watch it happen and just get inspired by young people. Young people are constantly being talked about of how they weren't like us back in the day. This group is incredible. And, just that good of a team. A lot of fun. 50 games we won this year. That close to winning a national championship, pretty impressive.
Thank you, Coach. We'll go ahead with questions from the media. We'll start with Dustin.
Dustin McComas, orangeblitz.com. David, when people reflect on this team and think about it in the next weeks, months, or the next few years, what do you hope they remember most about this group and take away from this team?
The grit, the toughness, the never give up mentality, the energy, just the talent. I mean, there's just so many words that you can describe this group, and they're all positive. I mean, did a great job of dealing with COVID, did a great job of staying in the classroom, taking care of business. We had 0 issues. I mean, it's just a team that has really set the standard of what we expect at the University of Texas.
We'll continue with a question from Cole.
Cole Thompson, LonghornsCountry.com. Coach, just want to get your thoughts on Cole. Overall, great outing. One of the better performances. One mistake is a difference maker. Just what was your overall intention, and for him to be able to get out of that, that inning with the bases loaded, just how important was that to you guys?
Sometimes Cole has like a low motor, and we talk a lot during BP because he catches up for me probably 50% of the time hitting fungo. And, we just talk about little things and talk about, probably 50% of the people in the stadium aren't even paying attention to the game. We're not that big of a deal, and just go be yourself and go out there and compete. And, man, when you get in that kind of jam and he threw his pitches with conviction, I think you just watched another young person just grow up right there on the mound. I mean, we've all seen his stuff. We've all seen him with some tremendous outings, but you just watched him grow up to basically feel like he can do pretty much anything on that mound if he just puts his mind to it, and I think it was tremendous.
We'll take a question next from Chip.
Chip Brown with Horns247.com. David, can you take us through you get Cole up in the bullpen in the 5th, and then Tristan comes back out for the 6th. Can you take us through, what your thinking was about when to bring Cole in?
I don't ever like anybody coming in that big of a mess. But every time Tristan's in the game, he's a guy that has history of handling that stuff. And so he had a quick 5th, and it was a no-brainer that we were bringing him back out. With Cole being one of 2 potential guys that would come in if we had runners on in the inning. So Sean and I planned it this morning, kind of how we wanted to approach it, with guys that would come in clean, guys that would come in situations, guys that would deal with the top of the order versus the bottom of the order. And for Tristan to give us 6, I think, what did he go, 5? Probably after pitching on Tuesday, we were looking at it of 3 to 5, and he got us into the 6. So, there's a lot that we talked about, but that's kind of how it evolved.
Our next question will come from Kirk.
Kirk Bowles from the American Statesman in Austin. Congratulations on the season, David. You guys lost that first game and were behind the 8 ball. How draining was that for this team to play under that kind of pressure with 4 elimination games?
I don't think anybody ever really felt this pressure that we've got to win this game. I think everybody felt like there was a comfort about just competing and trying to do it the tough way and fighting every single day and getting into the flow of the tournament. I mean, what did we play? 5 games in the tournament. That's something that they got very comfortable of playing here. And like I said, I don't think we ever – at times, of course, the game speeds up. They've got some really quality arms. But I don't think that piece really affected us other than, realizing that there is no next day if we don't win. But we never went there, really. We kind of kept it positive. I believe the last 2 nights of 3:40 and 2-hour rain delays probably drained us as much as anything. And we didn't discuss that other than next game, get ready to go. But, whether it wore on us or not, our play was tremendous. So, it's unfortunate we had to hang around so long, but I didn't think that was the reason why we lost.
And Dave, could you speak to the nucleus of the team coming back after the high of this season and everything it accomplished?
Well, what do you mean? Like personnel?
You got a lot of freshmen. Yeah, you got a lot of freshmen and some really great young pitchers kind of setting that standard.
I see. Okay. The future's bright. Got a great recruiting class, and we have, look around the horn. You've got Ivan's going to insert probably at first base, potentially at third base. You got a guy like Peyton Powell that might have options to do a little bit more in there. You got Silas, Trey, Mitch, Hodo, DC. I mean, you can go on the staff. You've got the two big freshmen in Witt and Nixon, and you look at Gordon, he's right there close to being that next weekend guy. And, just a lot of positive things. I think more than anything that I've been so pleased with is just the leadership from Ty and Tristan and DJ and all the older guys, Zach. I mean, they've just been tremendous. And so they've set this standard. It's crazy. I got here in 2017. We absorbed a team that was 24-31 and didn't really know how to win. And this group, starting last spring, started really creating that attitude that we're looking for. Our 18 team was good, but I think this group has kind of started that true standard that we're looking for.
We have time for one final question. Danny?
David, did you feel that Cole was tiring at all, or did you feel like you guys could still ride him as long as he wanted to go out there?
I don't know about as long as he wanted to go, but I thought his pitches were sharp. As soon as the eighth was over, I told Sean we're sticking right there. I liked everything about it.
And then, like you said, this group, one of your favorite groups of all time. How do you say goodbye to a group like this? I mean, how do you, go through these emotions of ending a season and, finishing off this ride with guys like Zach, who you've obviously had a very long relationship, and even someone like Mike, you've only known for a year, but contributed so much in his only year here.
Those guys will be a part of my life the rest of my life. So other than saying goodbye from a team of 27 to whatever we have total, that's the tough part. You just want to keep doing it. I mean, you really do. You want to just keep doing it with these guys. But I think those guys will always be a part of the rest of my life. I hope so. I hope they feel the same.
Coach, thank you for your time today.
I just
We
tell you,
appreciate it.
I really admire and love this team. And there's a lot of local media here that have spent a lot of time with me and this team. And I think you guys have been tremendous. And, I really do appreciate that. I mean, you got a tough job to do as well as I do, but I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you again, Coach. We will be joined momentarily by Mike Antico. Media, please use this time to raise or lower your hand as necessary. We're being joined next by Mike Antico. We'll go ahead and get started with questions from the media. Danny, you'll go first.
Mike, this is obviously a tough loss, but just kind of overall reactions to what went down today and, just thoughts on this season at Texas.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable season. It's a special group of guys, and we worked as hard as we possibly can. We didn't leave any stone unturned on our way here. So, I mean, no regrets at all. Just, it was a great season. Baseball is a crazy sport. We were, we had a man on second in the top of the ninth. They had a man on second in the bottom of the ninth. They got it done and we didn't, and the season's over that quick. You blink your eyes and it's over. So, I mean, it sucks to lose that way, but it was an unbelievable season, and I'm really proud of this whole team, the coaches and the players. It was a hell of an experience.
We'll continue with a question from Nick.
Yeah, Nick Moyle, San Antonio Express News. Mike, obviously would have been easy for y'all to kind of lay down after that first loss, fought back, 4 straight elimination games. What's it like battling with these guys in this game and just throughout the season?
Yeah, we definitely took the hard route to make it to the final, but I think that shows the character of our team. Like you said, we lost that first game, and we scratched and clawed our way back. So, we came up just a little bit short, but, this team has done it all year, just battled and fought and came up a little short, but, I'm happy for this team. I really am.
And, Coach Pierce obviously has a lot of love for y'all. He was talking about you guys just a few minutes ago. What was it like getting to spend this year alongside him?
Yeah, Coach Pierce changed my life. I was at St. John's for 4 years. It was a great program, and I wanted to take the next step, and he gave me that opportunity every day this year. He stuck with me through and through, and let me play center field for the University of Texas. It was a life-changing experience, and I thank him very much and all the coaches. They made me a better player and a better person throughout this whole season. So. My gratitude is through the roof for everybody in this program.
We'll take another question from Chip. Chip, if you'd like to go ahead.
Mike, can you just, Chip Brown with Horns 24/7, can you just talk about, you guys seem to answer every bell down the stretch here, all these elimination games, and just to have it end so suddenly and abruptly like that. Just that emotion.
Yeah, I was running into left center when the guy hit the ball, and, I kind of looked at EK and I was like, it's over, it's crazy. Just like that, my mind was ready for the top of the 10th inning. I think I was up third. So I was ready, just like that, it could change so quick, just like life. So baseball is a crazy sport. It's a crazy game. I love it with all my heart. But, a lot of emotions right then and there in that moment. But, your season can be made in a split second, and it can be broken in a split second. And tonight it was broken.
We'll take another question from Kirk.
Yeah, Kirk Bowles from the Austin American-Statesman. Mike, you obviously had a really great World Series and could probably even been the MVP with all that you did. But the offense just never really seemed to gel quite as well as it did during the season and the postseason in Austin. A lot of strikeouts. Any particular reason, or is it just kind of you got great pitching when you face it up here?
Yeah, we did. We ran into some great pitching, and. Like I said, hitting is contagious in baseball, So I agree. I think there was definitely some moments where it was hard to get we had a hard time getting the offense going. But I think I read a stat on the board that said we scored the most runs in the College World Series. So I don't know what to say, but this team did a great job, and that's all I got.
And as far as next year, I know you're a senior, but there's so many young guys, and especially freshmen on this team. Where do you think they pick up after where y'all have left off here in Omaha?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said to a lot of the guys when we were hugging at the end of the game. I said, you still got time. Me is a different story. My next step would be professional baseball. I won't be able to have this experience again, coming to Omaha and all that comes with it. So my message to the younger guys was, you got next year, you got time. You might have 2 more years, 2 more opportunities to make it here. It's definitely not an easy feat. I was talking about it with some of the guys. It's just like you look at NC State, they're an average team all year, I guess you could say, and then they end up in Omaha. There was teams in the Big 12 Conference, TCU, Oklahoma State, that, they could beat us on any given day. We could beat them on any given day, but we ended up here and they didn't. So a lot goes into making it to Omaha. So, just got to take it all in while you're here. But I give those younger guys the hope that they still have an opportunity to come back here, and just keep your head up high and just keep moving forward.
We'll take one final question for Mike. Cole, go ahead.
Cole Thompson, LonghornsCountry.com. Mike, just overall performance on Cole tonight and what he was able to do. And more also, if you just could, just real fast, young talent, Tanner, Witt, Aaron, for these guys in this next group of pitching coming up, what does this mean for Texas baseball?
Yeah, Cole was doing great, and he hit the batter, and I knew it was trouble. He hit the guy, and they brought in pinch runners, steal second, and I knew we were in trouble then. But he did great leading into that. Tanner Witt has one of the best mindsets of a pitcher that I've ever played with in my life, and he's such a young kid. I mean, he easily could have went and played professional baseball, but made a great move of coming to Texas instead. Aaron Nixon, he's our closer, and it takes a special cat to be a closer in baseball, and he's got all the makings of it. My thing for Tanner and Nixon both is they were both position players. They were two-way guys, so they understand the mentality of a position player, and they bring that same work ethic into pitching, and I think it really helps them a lot. But I think they have the brightest futures ahead of them, all three of those guys that you had mentioned.
Mike, thank you very much for your time tonight.
Thank you.
For our media members, thank you all for participating this evening. You can find a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com, and transcripts will be available at www.ncaa.com/transcripts. Thank you again for joining us.